So the big problem I really want to solve is collaboration on incident response and digital forensics. So many of these problems are really hard, and they're often really hard because we've made it difficult to work together on them. If I'm a forensics analyst and I find something I think is important, I have to go to another room or find somebody else to go work on the malware for me. And then I have to wait for his response to come back before I can go use that to start digging into what I'm working on the disk forensics. And I just want to make it easier for those types of groups to collaborate and work together and share information in an organic way to make them faster and more effective. But you can see how this allows us to put all this in the chat. Now, if Kyle and I were both interacting, we were doing an incident response together, we have all these lookups in one thing. He understands how I'm looking stuff up, and it really gets that whole forensic idea of showing repeatable processes and things like that. The simplest answer would be to try to look for those ways to work together. The slightly more complex one is, I tried to use a tool called Hubot that's really important to my company from an operations perspective, and tried to modify it to be really useful from a security operations perspective. And it was more successful than I would have thought possible. So really ended up being a great thing, and I think that workflow and that methodology of trying to use that as the glue to have that collaboration go together is really effective and really easy for a lot of other people. So Hubot is basically a chat robot, something similar to what's been going on in IRC and other chat applications for years, that originally began just kind of as a way of doing some really simple tasks at GitHub. It's since been built up and built up and built up to the point that our ops guys refer to it as the most important member of our operations team, and ends up being everything from the way we deploy new servers to the way we just kind of hang out around the water cooler and share funny pictures and things like that. It does have answers to give you. It doesn't necessarily learn, except that as a user, I can create new actions for it, and it can build upon those. So. It essentially knows everything that is, as developers we tell it can do, and it'll sometimes even with that kind of surprise you a little bit.